Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, guys, so this article comes from HuffPost. It's dated July 23rd, 2023. So, what I understand is that Grant Cardone is a Scientologist. I think there's a lot of grandstanding, a lot of fakery, a lot of things that are not what he's portraying himself to be. And I had watched Serge Del Mar's video where he was showing this repugnant video with Grant Cardone and his young daughter. Go check out Serge Del Mar. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and read this, and here we go. Financial influencer Grant Cardone says he can make you a billionaire. His investors claim he defrauded them. Mounting legal troubles against the social media phenomenon. Is he really a phenomenon? Having not stopped him from continuing to promote questionable business ventures to his millions of followers. And that's not a narcissistic image there. In March 2022, businessman Grant Cardone stood on stage at his annual conference at the Diplomat Beach Resort in South Florida, preparing to introduce a special guest. The gentleman I'm about to bring to the circle right here is massively, massively successful, he said, his voice reverberating through a room filled with thousands of his adoring fans. I mean, come on, guys. It's a little syrupy. If there is a case, we will find it and do everything we can to get justice for your child. That was an advertisement. Sorry, guys. He's the strongest marketer on planet Earth, and with the best brand in the world, he continued. Some of you will know this guy because he's a real estate mogul. He's a mogul, guys, in case you guys didn't know. But most of you mother effers will know him because he is the 45th president of the United States of America. This is sounding very propaganda-y. As the crowd roared and Lee Greenwood's song, God Bless the USA, blared across the sound system, former President Donald Trump emerged from a corner of the room and strode to center stage, spotlights and smoke machines erupting around him. Jeez. Trump, smiling, first fist bumped Cardone, who seemed uncharacteristically starstruck, as the former president told him, "You have a great reputation." He added that if Cardone ever went into politics, you would automatically have my vote. I don't care whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. You have my complete and total endorsement. Is this real, you guys? Oh. That endorsement has been shared by millions of fans, millions, who eagerly follow Cardone's advice. A-list celebrities like John Travolta, who's a Scientologist, Tom Brady, and Kevin Hart. Wait a minute. No, Kevin Hart is not the one associated with Diddy. I think that's Aaron. Kevin Hart, who routinely appear at his events, and finance websites like CNBC's Make It and Forbes that tout him as an expert. Oh my goodness. And the key to his empire has been his social media prowess. Cardone is one of the world's leading influencers. Could it be more propaganda-y? Okay, I'm going to just push through this. Or financial influencers and leverages social media to sell his training programs and real estate investments to his millions of followers. Not like they didn't tell us that before. Financial influencers have proliferated across social media in recent years, especially as get-rich-quick culture boomed in the pandemic with promises of passive income or wealth creation, while jobs disappeared and people were trapped at home, glued to their computers. I wonder why we're trapped at home. Okay, you guys, sorry that I interrupted, but this is a very long article and all the propaganda-y stuff and just makes me want to barf. So I had to fast forward. So I'm going to pass by, how he's such a great M&F-er in the world. Well, he works his daughters, great guy. He's so rich he has to work his daughters. But lawsuits examined by HuffPost show that he's been involved in a series of business disputes over the years, kind of like Scientology, and that people around him have been accused of fraud by federal authorities. No way the federal authorities exist. I'm starting to wonder where they are. His twin brother Gary, oh, that's suspicious. His twin brother Gary, who put up the seed money for Cardone's booming real estate business, has been the target of Federal Trade Commission civil action, which alleges his company helped scammers evade credit card fraud alerts. Oh, that sounds like Scientology. The FTC is petitioning the court to close Gary Cardone's business and order him to pay money to consumers impacted by his activities. Gary Cardone did not respond to requests for comment, just like Scientology. Court records from lawsuits involving Grant Cardone's training programs include claims from former clients who say they were trapped into lengthy, inflexible contracts that they were unable to pay for or get out of. What does that sound like? The owner of an Ohio power washing business claims he tried to cancel the firm's $497 a month contract after 8 weeks, but said he was unable to do so. An employee from Cardone's training company stated they could only cancel after their contract was completely fulfilled. And the firm later sued for the remaining $16,401 of the contract. The case was settled. Lisa Williams, the owner of Jubilee Family Chiropractic, a struggling family business in Virginia, signed up for a 6-year training contract at $795 a month. A fan of Cardone, she claims she maxed out her credit cards to attend training sessions with him. Williams wrote to the company in 2020 at the height of the pandemic to explain that her business was struggling with astronomical business debt and tight cash flow, and asked for some understanding about her late payments. However, she was sued in 2022 for the remaining $52,000 on her training contract. The case was also settled. He's been on news broadcasts, being interviewed by reputable people. Oh, who are those people? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm thinking, okay, this guy must be the real deal. And that's Marcus Askins. Cardone increasingly has been under fire for his business practices, but so far has escaped any major consequences. He is currently at the center of an ongoing class action lawsuit filed in 2020 that alleges that he misled investors on social media with overblown promises of high returns. Cardone has denied the allegations, saying it is a tragedy our system is so litigious and people are encouraged to sue others in order to hold a company doing great things hostage. Doing great things, yeah, right. Very narcissistic. As a prominent member of the Church of Scientology cult, Cardone is also accused of infusing the controversial organization's teachings into his business methods, which led to a now settled lawsuit by former employees. The terms of the settlements have not been made public. None of the lawsuits settled or ongoing have named Scientology as a co-defendant. In response to a request for comment, a representative for the Church of Scientology wrote, "The slanted and offensive allegations you have sent us, while mostly unsourced, from their tenor appear to be lifted from a handful of anti-Scientology bigots." Boy, they need a new shtick, don't they? Haven't they been saying that same thing since the 50s? Who shriek at any successful Scientologist. The fact is, there are many Scientologists, and they are everywhere around the world. You can find them in their homes, at work, and helping others in the community. No, scamming others in the community. HuffPost interviewed 4 former employees and reached out to current employees about the inner workings of Cardone Capital. In one interview, a former senior executive at Cardone Capital alleged they watched as staffers tried to destroy what they say was evidence of wrongdoing. Isn't that like a federal crime right there? Destroying evidence? They also provided documentation to support their allegations. And, boy, does this sound familiar. And an internal financial document reviewed by HuffPost indicates Cardone has made $54 million by marking up properties sold to his investors through his real estate fund. Grant Cardone and Cardone Capital did not respond to multiple requests for comments. Exactly like Scientology. Now, social media sleuths and some of Cardone's investors are looking into the legitimacy of his real estate funds and various business partnerships and are trying to hold him accountable. They allege that Cardone has pulled the wool over clients' eyes and trapped them into deals that only serve his interests. Another thing a narcissist would do. Paul Pelletier, who was the Department of Justice's most senior fraud prosecutor during a 25-year career at the agency, reviewed the documents in the class action case against Cardone. It looks like his business is built on lies and deception, just like Scientology, that will likely collapse, leaving his investors holding in an empty bag, he said. Before Grant Cardone became a social media sensation, this is so, like, I mean, propaganda, but it's just like so, just cringy. The financial influencer had a seemingly idyllic childhood, growing up in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Oh, do children have childhoods? Inquiring minds want to know, do children have childhoods? Perched a few miles north of the Gulf of Mexico, it's a town where traditional southern architecture sits along petrochemical plants. It's another Scientology thing right there, I think. His father, Curtis Lewis, was the first in his family to attend college. Oh, yeah, they don't let children go to college in Scientology. I mean, you know, the older children. He opened a grocery store and subsequently trained as a stockbroker. The family have had 5 children and enjoyed all the trappings of an American middle-class success. Oh, here we go with this again. With a strong work ethic, he was able to make a little bit of money, like frauding people, and buy us a home on the lake. We went fishing on a boat, water skied, had a riding lawn mower, and lived among the doctors in a nice neighborhood, Cardone wrote of his father in a LinkedIn post. And we know that that's true, right? Just being sarcastic. But it was not to last. Lewis died early from a heart attack when Cardone was just 10. We went from a house on the lake to a tiny brick house on a tiny lot. You guys ever notice, like, all these stories are always the same? I'm just saying. Surrounded by houses that all looked exactly the same. Cardone wrote, my mom's scarcity mindset became a part of everything we did. Little did I know that this time seeded what would later drive me in life. Oh, just to make money. 10 years later, tragedy would strike once more as Cardone's brother, Curtis Lewis Jr., died at the age of 25. I wonder if his parents were Scientologists too, because all this death definitely sounds like Scientology, unfortunately. By his own admission, Cardone then lost his way. He wrote on his website that by the age of 23, the only things he had were drugs, a few bucks, and a dog that I could barely take care of. I don't know if I want to read this whole thing. Hold on. No, you know, honestly, guys, I don't want to read the rest of it. It's just so cringy. The headline's talking about the lawsuit, and then all they do is just puff him up, and he's the greatest guy, and it's the rags to riches. Always the same stories with these folks. Anyways, I will put the link in the description box. Yeah, it's really long, and it's just, we didn't need his life story. I'm kind of thinking that Scientologists wrote this article. So that's it, you guys. Have a good night, good day, wherever you are. Peace.